cocktail I have, the River City. So I thought in relation to that reading, that's got a whole kind of cultural aspect to it. The idea of being on like the Mississippi River in a river city with the paddle wheelers and all that kind of a thing. So I found a really neat cocktail, which especially for a Saturday morning is going to be a lot of fun. This is basically like a creamsicle in a glass. So we first start out with some sun-kissed orange soda, which is made, of course, with real sugar. We don't do high fructose corn syrup. We're back in the the era of real sugar. Then we put a scoop or two of vanilla ice cream in, and I think I may have forgot to bring a spoon, but we'll see how well I do here. Of course, the ice cream is trying to stick to the scoop, but we'll take care of that.
That ice cream is kind of softened, which probably makes it a whole lot easier to work with. And
yes.
That is looking really good.
And then the pièce de résistance, which is 2 ounces of whipped cream vodka.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yes. So, it's a creamsicle, but one with a serious kick to it. And then, of course, because we have to kind of keep the creamsicle shtick going, we're going to put a little bit of whipped cream on top of this. And now we have the River City.
Oh, fun. Oh, that's beautiful.
Sun-kissed orange soda, the vanilla ice cream, some nice whipped cream vodka, and a little bit of whipped cream.
So, cheers. And I'm going to end up with a whipped cream mustache. Oh wow, that is so good.
Happy Saturday morning.
Kids, you should not be drinking alcohol at 9 in the morning. Kids, you shouldn't be drinking alcohol at all. But for the adults who also shouldn't be drinking at 9 in the morning. Our programs. Yeah. So what got you interested in the field of parapsychology that features prominently in this book?
I think I always have been. I remember going to the library and like grabbing all of the books that I could get my hands on, both fiction and nonfiction, just about ghosts. It's always kind of fascinated me, this idea of history and whether or not ghosts are real, whether or not they're intelligent, whether or not they're just echoes of the past time, whether or not they're overlaying our present reality or not. I mean, there's so many fascinating theories about it.
I have an interesting ghost story, and for anyone who's interested in this, also check out our previous video with Peter Andrusacco, and I think the book is called Hauntings of Niagara. And he actually had a program, I believe a TV series about hauntings. But quite a few years ago, in fact, 2014, so almost 10 years ago now, I went to Scotland and I went to Lacranza Castle. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the stairway is barred. It's more of a ruin, really. And it's on the Isle of Arran, where Robert the Bruce is said to have spent that lost winter of 1306 to 1307. So I took a picture looking up this stairway. And, I took the picture. I was looking up an empty stairway. When it came out on my camera, there was a very clear human form, kind of grayish, typical ghostly, but it was very clearly human form. So that was fascinating to me. I've had some houses where I'm like, something's off here. And I never know, is it because I have a big imagination or am I really feeling something? But that obviously brings up the question, do you believe in ghosts and have you had any experiences?
Yes, absolutely. Or believe, excuse me, believe in some sort of energy sharing, reality sharing, or something like that. I don't believe we lived in a true haunted house. I actually think the energy of the people who lived before us left something there, because that
Mhm.
house was weird. We First of all, when we moved in, we had to have the cleaners come back out again. It was disgusting. And the cleaners said that when they came out, they were like, we spent like 2 days cleaning this already. The people before had trashed the house. We found weird things. One of the bedrooms had a padlock on the inside room
Oh,
so
wow.
they probably rented it out.
Mhm.
One of the cabinets smelled so much of pot, like they'd obviously been keeping their stash in there. But the weirdness of the house was that in the hallway, the boards creaked, and at night we really could hear we really could hear footsteps or movement or something at night on that hallway. We had lights off and on all the time. The boys were much younger, so I was like, turn off the lights. And they're like, I swear, Mom, I did. Faucets were left on all the time. And the house just felt horrible. It was just horrible. We managed to get out of that house in about 3 months, but I was so happy to leave it. It just was not a fun.
One of the things that really comes out in this book, you're talking about the ghost of Ruth, and I believe her husband's name was Jack. And excuse me. And as they read through Ruth's diaries that they eventually find, they discover that when Jack comes back from the war, he is very changed. And this is World War II. And he's become kind of verbally, at least verbally and emotionally abusive. And you talk about he probably had PTSD, which wasn't recognized
Right.
in the 40s and 50s. And you sort of explore, without stating it directly, you explore this question of how much are we a little bit victims of the things that happen to us versus, you don't have to be abusive. Where do you fall on that question? How much do you think most people can control, or do you think it differs from person to person?
Oh, I think it differs from person to person. I think so. I have a degree in psychology, and we really don't understand the mind very well at all. We don't understand why some people can go through an experience and come out fine, unchanged, and someone else can go through the exact same experience and have a significant personality change. We don't understand severe mental health issues like schizophrenia and bipolar. We medicate for it. We try to help people with it, but we don't understand it whatsoever. And I think, I mean, abuse is never, ever, ever okay. But I think there does at times need to be a grace for understanding people are ill, especially if they've gone through something horrific, which Jack presumably did in World War II. Need to protect the people around, but also need to understand he's sick and needs help for that.
Happier with their lives than others.
Yeah. Well, because I love this concept, and Sean McGuire does a fantastic job with her collection of Wayward Children, and those stories are about the Wendys and the Alices who fall through portals, find lands that they adore, and then when they grow up, get shoved back out into the real world, which would be very traumatizing. So her stories are about what happens to those children afterwards.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and I really liked this concept of this idea of like finding a place where you belong and you're happy, and yeah, maybe it's weird, but and it ends up getting taken away from you, and kind of what that does to you. How do you respond to reality again? Probably not very well.
Well, I think that's actually a powerful theme in today's world, especially where we can get very lost in TV and games, and it's very easy to escape reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily a good thing. We should face reality. That's very good on a sore throat. Which is probably not what the bartender was intending. I do like that.
Okay.
Oh, I love being able to see the cat.
Yeah, he's been hanging out the entire time.
Yeah. I do love cats.
He's a good one. Yeah. All right, here we go. So this is a picture that I picked up. I don't even know where, at some sort of convention. And so it's a really spooky house.
Mhm.
But the reason I really like it is because up above,
Oh, look,
you
I
can
didn't
see
that.
there's a woman up there, and she's hanging out on the roof. She's not in a window. So to
Mhm.
me, she's, some sort of entity tied to the house.
Okay, so you saw her as a ghost, not as an actual person.
No.
Is the house in River City Widows based on that at all?
No, actually, the house in River City Widows is actually based on my very dear friend's house. She bought a house. It was actually made in the 1920s, but it's falling down around her. And she has rules like not opening up the windows and stuff like that because it does wear down the sashes.
Okay.
Because you do have to be very careful with those houses because they're very expensive to maintain, and it's easy to open up a window and all of a sudden you've got several $1,000s of damage.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. So why did you switch to it being a house in the 40s or 50s in the book?
Because I wanted to deal with World War II. So it just, sometimes you make those decisions and then you're like, oh, wait, shoot, now that doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I've based a story on the house we're in now, and I won't get into why, but it was a home health care nurse when I moved here. I had had surgery like 2 weeks before we had to move, like major surgery in my back. And this home health care nurse was absolutely determined to get into our house because it was her cousin's house. It's a whole weird story. And so as a writer, I was like, why would she be so determined to get into my house? And so obviously I concluded that there is a treasure hidden in this house.
Oh, I like that.
So that's going to be one of our Ivy League mystery novels. So
fun.
Houses are great inspirations for novels.
They really are.
One of the aspects was that, in the South, you're either kin or you're not kin. And this nurse happened to have been kin to the people who lived here before, and actually most of the neighborhood.
Yeah, the entire neighborhood and down in Holler, she said, was all their family, mostly their family.
Wow.
So she was, and I get it, in fact, there's a chapter, I've got kind of a James Herriot style memoir that I'm working on. And I talk about, what it is to grow up and be very attached to a place and so on. But it also made for a great story for our somewhat, parody noir type Ivy League mystery series that I'm working on, which is part of why I'm working on a dozen manuscripts at once.
Always fun.
Yeah.